Hey guys, hope you are doing well, and I'm gonna use the same notebook for understanding what is the abstraction, right? So I will give you some example, right? So before that, I give you example. Let me explain you what is an abstraction, right? So abstraction focus on representing essential features of object while hiding unnecessary detail side. It simplify complex system by providing a simple and generalized view. Abstraction classes and interference are used to define the abstraction in programming, right? So let me show you how the abstraction look like, right? Okay, so let's start with the code, and I'll first get more block over here. Well, we should have discussed the abstraction in the first phase, but like I have put it into the last phase because so like now you know more in detail, so it will be easy for you to understand, right? So I'm gonna tell you how to import a library first. I will say like from, right, ABC, right. I will say import, right, ABC, right, and I will say abstraction method, right. So that's the inbuilt function, right. So these are how we import the library in a Python, right. So let's say this is the inbuilt library anyways, like let's say class animal, right. I'm going to use same, and I will say ABC, right. So I'm just going to randomly name ABC, right. I will say def, right, initializations, right. Then it's basically adding the constructor over here like def self, right, name, then say self dot name equal to name, right. So we're defining those parameters over here, right. So let's say abstraction method, right, and I'll say okay, abstractions method, right. So after that I will say def, right, make sound. Okay, so I will say self is basically gonna take all those parameter inside over here when the self method will come over here, right. So let's say we're gonna pass this, right. So when you're gonna pass this self and argument, it will basically when you when you basically put those name over here, it will automatically pass, right. So if it's a dog, it will pass automatically what we define for a dog. If it's for a cat, it will automatically pass for the cat, right. So I have explained you on the earlier video, right. So let's say def, and let's say sleep, right. On the sleep, what we can do is the self, right. After the self, and we can say print. So now we can use a print. That's a cool. So let's say oh sorry, I need to open and close curly bracket, right, and say this is the rules of the of your f string. So basically I'm going to tell you in the future how to use f string, right, in a very advanced method. And I will show you a crazy stuff on an f string where you can take an input and project directly the output. Well, there's a lot of plenty of method you can use that for, right. So okay, so now we're gonna use the inheritance topic, right. So I'm gonna use another block just to show you guys how this thing works. Let's say class, right, let's say dog, let's say animal, which are basically the above class we have defined, the animal, right. So let's say def, right, let's say make sound, and then we have to delete this because it's automatically print that. So let's say print, and let's say woof, right, and that's for the dog. Let's for the cat, let's say class, right. So cat, and let's say animal, right. Then we'll say def, right, and make sound, right. So we're gonna say print, right, and we say meow. Okay, so sorry, meow, meow, right. So there we go, right. So now we're gonna make an object, right. So basically we know that like dog, right. So let's this time I will say Jack, right, no semi, right. So let's say cat equal to oops sorry, I forgot to mention over here the class dog, right. And let's say cat, that's another class, right. So let's say whisker, right. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna call the method, right, because we have created the instance over here of the subclass, right. There's an instance over here, right. And basically now we're gonna call the method which defined was defined in the abstracts base class. So let's say we want to print the output. What we gonna do if we have to take a dog, then dog dot. So that is what we're gonna make, right? So we're gonna make a sound over here. How the dog sound like? There you go, dog dot make sound. That's woof, right? And similarly, like say cat dot make sound, right? Open and close parentheses. That's say meow, right? So now you can see we can I'm like call the method, right, defined in the abstract base class. So now we're gonna access the attribute defined in the abstract base class, right? So basically on the above one, we basically call the method, right, which is defined in the abstract base class, but now we're going to access the attribute defined in the base class. So it's very easy. If I say if I say print, right, and if I say print, right, then basically I have to define inside this, right. Oops, sorry, I forgot, I didn't use I'm not using a Jupyter notebook, right. So dog dot name, right, I will say cat dot name, right. So now you can see the name over there, right, Jack and Whisker, right. So last time we can see how they can make a sound. So basically that is like calling the method defining in the abstract base class. So this is the accessing the attribute defining in the abstract base class, right. So now we're gonna call the method defining in the concrete subclass. Okay, so let's see how this works. Let's say dog dot sleep, right. Now you can see over here Jack is sleeping, right. Let's say cat dot sleep, right, and open close parenthesis. Now you can say Whisker is sleeping, right. Now you can see over here this is your basically creating instant of the subclasses, right. This is the very important part. Then you can see over here this is your method defining in the abstraction of base class, right. Then you can see over here this one print one, this is basically the accessing the attribute, right, defining in the abstract base class. So those both are the base class, right. And when you go for this one Whisker is sleeping and Jack is sleeping, that is basically method defining in the concrete subclass, right. I will make more videos on YouTube about this, right, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this, right, and I'll see you next time, right. Cheers.